What is up, guys? Del Boy here. So David Price defeats Kamil Sokolowski by a 6-round decision. The referee scored it 60-54 in favour of David Price. My thoughts on his performance. Firstly, I did say leading up to the fight, Kamil Sokolowski is a durable journeyman. He is capable. He'll give it a go. He's fit. He's strong. And he didn't really surprise me. I knew he'd give it a go. I knew he'd be durable. You know, he's a tough man. And he has caused a couple of upsets in his time. So Sokolowski's toughness didn't really surprise me. But onto the fight itself, I felt in the first 3 rounds David Price looked pretty poor, I've got to say. His jab wasn't really that strong. You know, he didn't really commit to the jab. He was winning the rounds, don't get me wrong. You know, he was flicking his jab out, throwing the occasional right hand, but again, even the right hand, he wasn't committing to it. He was just staying out of range, keeping it long, throwing that jab, and occasionally throwing a right hand. In the first 3 rounds, I felt there was a few times where David Price looked a tad uncomfortable. Sokolowski sort of came at him with like a high guard and moved his head back and forth, and he tried to bum rush occasionally. Every time Sokolowski bum rushed, he looked a little bit uncomfortable, David Price. You know, he tried to sort of tie up like an octopus kind of thing, and he just didn't look comfortable. His body language didn't look comfortable. Sokolowski in the first 3 rounds also landed a couple of nice overhand rights that caught David Price, but David Price kind of tied up afterwards and sort of smothered Sokolowski. So he dealt with it okay, but he never really looked comfortable in the first 3 rounds. Rounds 4 and 5 was better. The jab was more spiteful. It had more snap to it. You know, the jab was rocking the head back of Kamil Sokolowski. Also, the right hand was coming into play a bit more. He landed a couple of nice right uppercuts as Kamil Sokolowski was coming in. Also, a couple of nice straight right hands. Also, hooking off a jab a couple of times. Tries to land a couple of good body shots as well. Rounds 4 and 5 were better because Price was starting to try and sit back on his punches. He was trying to do some new things. So rounds 4 and 5, again, he had a couple of shaky moments. In particular, a left hook that kind of grazed David Price's chin. And, you know, it kind of caused Price to sort of immediately hold Kamil Sokolowski. So rounds 4 and 5, though, were better. Round 6, I thought Sokolowski again tried to put the pressure on. Price looked tired in round 6, but he was still throwing the jab. He was still trying to land a couple of hard right hands. But again, round 6, to me, David Price was starting to tire visibly. His body language, again, when David Price is tired, he looks like a tower that's about to fall. And he started to look like that in this fight in round 6, in my opinion. So if it was like an 8-rounder, it would have been interesting because, as I said, Sokolowski is very tough, he's very durable, and he is very, very fit. You know, you just had to look at the shape Sokolowski was in, and you know, he could have gone a couple of more rounds, in my opinion. And it actually goes to it puts a lot of full-time heavyweights to shame when a journeyman like Sokolowski can turn up in that kind of shape, and we have full-time boxers at heavyweight who are overweight, who are carrying too much timber, and somebody like Sokolowski can, you know, take care of himself and, you know, come to fight. So it puts those guys to shame, in my opinion. Somebody like Sokolowski who really does take the sport seriously, so credit to him. I would like to see Sokolowski in with some more prospects, actually. You know, Sokolowski is a good journeyman, like I said. And just goes to show, man, I mean, if Sokolowski had some sort of backing at the start of his career, maybe he could have done something a little bit more. I'm not saying he would be like a world champion or anything like that, but he'd have a winning record. Do you know what I mean? You know, he's a good, solid journeyman. But overall, was David Price impressive? Not particularly, in my opinion. I still saw the same glaring faults. I still saw him panicking when Sokolowski came close and tried to let his hands go. I still saw him backing up in straight lines. I still saw the chin right up in the air. I still saw his vulnerability to the overhand right. I still saw the dodgy stamina. Listen, man, David Price can earn a bit more. He can earn a bit more money from the sport, so he should carry on. As far as I'm concerned, if you can earn some money and good money, you should carry on. But he is not going to beat anybody of any significance, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe he could get a big punch and knock somebody out, but above a certain level, he is not going to compete, in my opinion. Anything above British level, he's going to struggle, you know. And even somebody like Dave Allen, I don't rate Dave Allen at all, but if Dave Allen is still in there after 4 or 5 rounds, it's a tough night for David Price. It's a tough night, you know. David Price is saying, I watched his interview, he was saying he would like another 10 rounds in the bank. He'd like a 10-rounder in February. I think that's the way to go, to be honest. I think he needs another tune-up fight. Nobody too good, but somebody durable. And sort of take it from there, see where he goes. After that, I would like to see him in with somebody like Dave Allen. I think that's a good fight for the summer. But yeah, I wasn't particularly impressed. I felt it was the same old David Price, ultimately. And that is what I said before the fight. The guy's not going to change, you know. He's just going to be a fun fighter. And as boxing fans, you know, we can look forward to his fights, because even that fight, you just had a feeling that something could go wrong. You know, watching David Price is entertaining. You know, we can talk about his flaws all day long, but at the end of the day, all that matters is that it's entertaining, and David Price is entertaining. So if David Price fights, chances are you're going to watch it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, wasn't the best performance, but he got some rounds under his belt, and he'll continue his career. What do you guys think? Peace.